This is Dan of Vagabond Awake, and today I'm delighted to help you with a question many of you have been asking me for, it seems like at least 5 years, and that is, are there adult care facilities somewhere in Southeast Asia that have reasonable prices because the prices are out of control in the US? And the answer to that question, I didn't know for a long time, but I just met Alma a few months ago, and she's here to tell us about her facility. Alma, welcome to the channel.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for having me.
So Alma, is it true that after 30 years of living in the USA and after raising your children, you moved back to the Philippines 13 years ago to start an assisted living facility? Is my understanding correct?
Yes, that's correct, Dan. I lived actually originally in California for a few years and moved to Florida, raised my family, my children there. And I came back 13 years ago and decided to find a way, the need for a safe and professionally assisted living in the Philippines. I saw a need for that when I came back home. And that was something that I'm very passionate about. And so that's why I'm here.
Well, that's great. So give us an idea. At what stage of aging do people generally come to you?
Usually people call on me when themselves, normally it's a family member actually who would call us when they have a loved one who is looking for someone to care for them. They're looking for someone who would assist their family member on their activities of daily living, or even when they're in a healthcare crisis. They're coming from the hospital after surgery. They're coming in with someone who they're not able to care for at home. Or actually, I have clients who came in from the US, actually, Dan, and decided to come and join us because, this is more of a place that they thought they would get better care. To a conclusion that this is much needed in the Philippines, and of course to serve expats, foreigners who are here living in the Philippines.
What sort of services do you offer, and what are the starting or basic prices?
Our basic rate starts at about 62,000 pesos a month. Converted, it would be $1,070 a month, and that's like 58 pesos per $1 exchange.
Wow.
So that's very reasonable compared to the 5,000 we were talking about earlier. So 1,070 is our basic fee. I mean, it's unbelievable, actually. I don't think people would believe me when I
yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, it is. It is insane, especially for the care you get. I mean, it's not like, we really spoil our residents. I mean, that's really our specialty. We have the 2 locations, and basic service fee would actually include, nurse and caregiver being accessible to them 24 hours a day. So that would mean nurses and caregivers are available for them. All their meals is included with the basic service fee. So that's breakfast, lunch, dinner, and mid-afternoon snacks. Utilities are included. So water, electric, and limited air conditioner use. Housekeeping, laundry, activities within the house. So we do have activity coordinator in our facility that would encourage our residents to do some activities, whether it's exercise activities or karaoke or games and stuff like that. We like to make it fun for them. That's all inclusive of our basic service fee, the 1,070 a month. So the service fee, though, increases based on the level of care, just in case there's any other required comprehensive geriatric care that we need to do.
How would someone interested in this contact you to find out more details? Probably people have specific questions about what their needs would be or their family would, and so they probably would need more detail about their specific family member or themselves. How would they contact you?
They can contact us through our website. That would be the best way. That's www.𝗙ifecare.ph. But before we go there, Dan, I also want to mention, I think I forgot to mention earlier, that our 2 facilities in Rizal and in Cebu has a total of 16 years experience. So I'd like to make sure that people know that, we've been here for quite some time. And so anyone who has other health issues and any other injuries or disabilities, that's what we're here for. We have licensed nurses, as I think I mentioned earlier, and caregivers. And our senior officers and staff has had very professionals and have the leadership and management skills that's needed for for a facility like this. And we also can help them with their visa requirement. So Philippine Retirement Authority is a government agency in the Philippines who people or foreigners would need to join in order for them to get the proper legitimate stay here in the Philippines. And we can even help them with that if when they get a hold of us. So I want to make sure that they know that the PRA, or Philippine Retirement Authority, is where they could get their visa, and we can assist them on that one as well.
That's amazing. It's such a great thing you're doing. There's probably people who are paying for family members in the US, these outrageous rates, that are going to hear this. And it can be a big weight on a family who is paying these $5,000 a month fees.
Yeah, just to show an example, Dan, about a year ago, we had a resident who came in from Colorado. They were paying $7,500 for his dad and a month, and they were told, and that was like his third time that he had to move up, because in the US we move up when someone has more activities that they can't do. They actually moved up to a different kind of level of care. And so he had Parkinson's, and he was at $7,500 a month, but then the next step up would have been $10,000. And so the son finally contacted me and, asked me how he can move his dad here. And of course, he came here to the Philippines first to just check us out and, see the facility and, if we were really real. And so he then proceeded to bring his dad here. Instead of paying $10,000 a month, he's now paying like $2,500, for the same care that he got, from a facility in the US. So that's like a huge disparity, a huge savings. And so his logic was that, his dad's Social Security and his savings wouldn't get depleted so much, because he knows that they can stretch that, they can stretch $1. So if he lives, for more than like 80 some years, at least, they have the money to pay for his care. So,
wow.
So I think, yeah, that's kind of a huge thing.
It's so true. I mean, even for well-funded people, you don't know how long you're going to live. And at 10,000 a month, that's going to be gone pretty fast.
That's in Colorado. And so I could imagine, if you're in New York or, different places where this, standard of living is higher, not sure what that looks like, but anyway, so I think that's the reason why a lot of people actually, not even just when they are in that stage, but many expats tend to want to come to Asia and hopefully the Philippines, because we do have the lifestyle and the standard of living is they can have that here, that the lifestyle that they want, rather than having them in the US, which they probably are not able to afford much. And so especially with all this food and everything going up in the US, so we should be the best option for them. So
yeah, and it's also very helpful that you shared that example, because it lets people know not only the basic costs are reasonable, but caring for an adult with Parkinson's who's lost mobility and needs to be showered and, needs more care, that would take maybe much more time from the nurses that are taking care of that person, and that you're able to, for a reasonable amount, you're able to get someone like that can take care of a parent like that, who needs more care. It's not, it actually costs more, and it should cost more, and that's still very reasonable for that, for taking care of a Parkinson's person.
The resident that I've had the longest has been with us for 12 years, and he's an American from New Jersey.
How would you say that your facility maybe is different than some of the more crazy expensive facilities, say in the US or Europe or other countries like that?
Good question. Life care in the Philippines, actually, we started about 13 years ago, like I said earlier. As much as we have similar qualities, similar standard as we have in the US, because I came in with knowing that the standard has to be high. I'm a Filipino American, so I need to be able to give the standard that I would expect myself to be cared for. In a way, we have the same standard as the US. But we have smaller facilities here, Dan. The current facility that we have in Rizal is 22 bedrooms. The one in Cebu is 11, but we're going to go up to 30 bedrooms. So there are small facilities, not unlike the US where they have 250 rooms in one facility. We just have from 11 to 30 rooms. So very small facilities. So it's more of a very intimate environment. Also, we differentiate by, our staff is all professionals. So we have all our nurses. Our nurses are registered nurses, and our caregivers have been certified as well. So we have all professional staff, proficient in English, and of course, experts on caring. More importantly, I think more than anything else, I think we would, if you have to compare us to facilities in the US and Europe, we're the most affordable for what they can get for their money. It's unbelievable. I think we talked about this earlier, that the facilities in the US range from about $5,000, and we're talking about just anywhere in the US. It starts about $5,000 to about 10 or 20, depending on where you're at. Here, it's very affordable. I think I'm going to talk about that with you later. The value for the money, the quality of care that you get here is phenomenal, compared to staying in the US facility.
So what are you able to offer expats looking at retiring in the Philippines?
Well, thank you for asking, Dan. I think that's a very important question. When people retire to Asia, because we're in the Philippines, and I think most of the expats or foreigners who comes, and I think that's your audience pretty much, when they come to a country in Asia, they usually don't. They come here for the lifestyle, of course, for the many benefits of living in a country where it's more affordable, food, rental is more affordable here. And so more than anything else, when they pick a location, I don't think a lot of Americans or Europeans think about what happens when they get older, and that's pretty much where we come in. When they're still up and about, they're still able to do scuba diving and, all the nightlife that they enjoy coming to Asia. And that's wonderful. But as soon as something happens, like an injury, an illness that comes about, or even Alzheimer's, family members from the US calling me wanting to know more about a facility because they're not ready for it. So it really is important for foreigners who comes to Asia to really know more about what happens when they get older. The eventuality of them getting older is, we all get older. Come on, let's face it, right? So plan that, and to kind of know that the adapted country that they go to would have the facilities that are reliable and accountable for their well-being. I think that's very important because many times they take it for granted that they will always be young at heart. But that's what we're here for, and we're uniquely in the position to be there for the expats and the foreigners who comes to the Philippines or even anywhere in Asia, because eventually we all get old.
What are the demographics of the people that come there, age and background, that kind of?
It's a good mixture, Dan. We have expats who have lived here for quite some time. Many of them had been married to Filipinas. Many of them have wives that had passed away. I have more male. It kind of makes sense because there's a lot of male expats who come to the Philippines or Asia than women. The most recent one is they're from Las Vegas. I talked to him about a year and a half ago. Now, living in the Philippines, his mother is with us. I have locals, and of course, I have returning Filipinos.
So where are your two facilities located?
Cebu, we're in Cebu City, and our other location is in Rizal, which is about an hour and a half drive from Manila.
Well, Alma, thanks so much for coming on my channel and sharing what I felt was a whole of information that I wasn't able to provide to people. I think it's important. When we age, we don't know how we're going to age, and it's important to know that there's somewhere we can go that maybe we can actually afford, that will take care of us as we age. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing what you do. We'll put a link
You're
to Alma's facility in the notes below this video, and also put it on the screen here. Alma, thank you so much.
welcome, Dan. Thanks for having me again.